Hi everybody, in this lesson I will help you understand the concept of the lowest form of a fraction. To understand the lowest form, we will first talk about what it means to reduce a fraction. So take this fraction 16 over 28. The question I have for you is, can we convert this fraction into an equivalent fraction with a smaller numerator and a smaller denominator? Yes, we can. We have learned about how to convert a fraction into an equivalent fraction by multiplying the numerator and denominator or dividing the numerator and denominator with the same number. So let's do that over here. So if we take 16 and 28 and divide both these by 2, what we'll get is the fraction 8 over 14, which is equivalent to the original fraction. And also the numerator and denominator here are smaller than the original values. So we'll say that we have reduced 16 over 28 into this fraction 8 over 14 because the numerator and denominator now are smaller. Now can I reduce this further? Can I yet again divide the numerator and denominator by some common factor to get an even more reduced equivalent fraction? Yes, I can. We see that 2 is a common factor of both 8 and 14. So let's divide 8 and 14 by 2 again, like this. So what we'll get is 4 in the numerator and 7 in the denominator. So we have further reduced our fraction into an equivalent fraction 4 over 7 starting from 16 over 28. Now can we go any further? It turns out that we can't because there is no common factor left between 4 and 7, and therefore we will say that 4 over 7 is in the lowest form because we cannot reduce it any further. So that's the key concept here. The lowest form of a fraction is an equivalent fraction that cannot be reduced any further. And just summarizing what we did in our example, we started with 16 over 28. We divided the numerator and denominator by 2. We got the equivalent fraction 8 over 14. We again divided by 2 above and below. We got the equivalent fraction 4 over 7. And then we realized that no other common factors exist between 4 and 7, and therefore this fraction is in its lowest form. Okay, now we have to, in this question, find out which fractions are in their lowest form. So all we need to do is figure out if the numerator and denominator in each case have a common factor or not. If they do have a common factor, they can be reduced further. If they do not have any common factor, then we know that they are in the lowest form. So let's start with 4 over 30. So 2 is a common factor, so this is not in the lowest form. 16 over 27, there is no common factor between these two numbers, so therefore 16 over 27 is in the lowest form. 20 over 13, so these two numbers don't have a common factor, so once again lowest form. 12 over 9, these two numbers have a common factor of 3, so this fraction could be reduced further, and therefore this fraction is not in the lowest form. Okay. We have to generate in this case the lowest form of this fraction. So we have 36 over 27 and we have to generate its lowest form or write it in its lowest form. So how do we do that? We'll keep dividing the numerator and denominator by common factors, or we'll keep reducing this fraction till we can't go any further. So let's first observe that 36 and 27 have a common factor of 3. So let's divide above and below by 3. So we'll get 12 in the numerator and we'll get 9 in the denominator. So is this in the lowest form now? Well, not really, because we still have a common factor of 3. So let's divide above and below by 3 again, and now we will get 4 in the numerator and 3 in the denominator. Now can we reduce this fraction any further? No, we can't, because 4 and 3 don't have any more common factors, and therefore 4 by 3 is in the lowest form. So the way we will say this is, the original fraction is 36 over 27, and we had to rewrite it in its lowest form. So we reduced it to 4 over 3, and this is the equivalent fraction of 36 over 27, that is in the lowest form. Now the question I have for you is, it took us 2 steps from here to get to here. So we first divided by 3 above and below, then we divided by 3 above and below again. So it took us 2 steps to write this fraction in its lowest form. Could we have done this in a single step? Yes, we could have divided the numerator and denominator both directly by 9 instead of starting with 3. So if we had directly divided by 9, we would have obtained 4 in the numerator, 3 in the denominator. So we would directly have reduced the original fraction to its lowest form. So that's the idea that I want you to pick up from here. To write a fraction in its lowest form, you can directly divide by the highest possible common factor of the numerator and denominator. And what is that called? That is called the greatest common factor, as you already know, the GCF. So to generate the lowest form of any fraction, you can directly divide the numerator and denominator by the GCF. In this case, it is 9. So 36 divided by 9 is 4, 27 divided by 9 is 3. So you directly obtain the lowest form of the original fraction. So that's what we'll do in this question now. We have to express each of these fractions in their lowest form. So we start with 12 over 44 and we observe that the GCF of 12 and 44 is 4. So if you want, you can pause the video here and work out the GCF if you have to. I'm directly using the value here. So you can divide 12 by 4 and 44 by 4 as well. So you get 3 over 11. So 3 over 11 is the lowest form of 12 over 44. What about 15 over 60? So what is the GCF of 15 and 60? So that will be 15, and therefore you can divide both above and below by 15. So 15 by 15, 60 divided by 15, and you will get 1 in the numerator and 4 in the denominator. So 1 over 4 is the lowest form version of 15 over 60. Okay, now we have to find the missing numerator using the lowest form. So this is a type of question, type of problem that you often see in this topic of equivalent fractions. So what we have here is 2 over 4 equivalent to some fraction that says a question mark over 6. So we don't know what comes here, but we are told that this fraction is equivalent to this fraction, and we have to find this question mark over here. Now the problem is, we observe that the denominator here is 4 and here it's 6. So there is no way to directly go from 4 to 6. We can't multiply 4 with any number that gives us 6, or we can't divide. So how do you then figure out this missing number over here? So the trick here is to first convert this fraction into its lowest form and then go from the lowest form to this fraction on the right side. So let's do that step by step. So first what we'll do is we'll take 2 over 4 and we'll write it in its lowest form. So the GCF of 2 and 4 is 2. So we divide above and below by 2. We get 1 over 2, which is the lowest form of 2 over 4. Now we will try and figure out how to write an equivalent fraction for 1 over 2 with a denominator of 6. So we have 1 over 2 and we need to go to a denominator of 6. So we multiply above and below by 3. So 1 times 3, 2 times 3. So we get 6 in the denominator and we get 3 in the numerator. So what does that tell us? It tells us that 2 over 4 is equivalent to 1 over 2, which is equivalent to 3 over 6, and therefore 2 over 4 is equivalent to 3 over 6. So this is how you solve questions of this type. You first convert the given fraction into the lowest form, and then from the lowest form you go to whatever is the fraction you want to get to, and therefore the missing number here will be 3. So 2 over 4 is equivalent to 3 over 6. Now let's use this concept and solve this last question here. We have two equivalent fractions, 10 over 35 equivalent to something over 63, and we have to figure this out. So first we will write this in its lowest form. So 10 over 35, the GCF of 10 and 35 is 5. So we'll divide above and below by 5. We will get 2 over 7, and now we will go from 2 over 7 to this whatever missing number over 63. So to go from 7 to 63, I'll need to multiply by 9. So I'll need to do the same in the numerator. So 2 times 9, so that is 18. So 10 over 35 is equivalent to 18 over 63. What about this one? 45 over 36 is equivalent to 25 over what? So let's first write this in its lowest form. So the GCF of 45 and 36 is 9. So we divide above and below by 9. So we get 5 in the numerator and 4 in the denominator. And now we'll go from here to here. So we see that 5 times 5 is 25. So we'll do the same with the denominator. So we'll do 4 times 5 and that is 20. So 45 over 36 will be equivalent to 25 over 20. So that's the concept of the lowest form of a fraction. I hope you understood this. Thank you for watching.